Good morning everyone, I'm your mentor Devanshu and I welcome you all to the reports and indices session on EduTap. And guys, today the topic of the discussion is Renewable Energy Country Attractiveness Index. And guys, we all know that reports and indices are very important when it comes to the NABARD, RBI and SEBI exam, and in the past year exams as well. We have seen questions coming from the topic of reports and indices in phase 1 as well as phase 2 of these exams, and this is the reason why we are discussing reports and indices. And guys, if you are new to our YouTube channel, kindly subscribe it and press the bell icon to receive all the latest updates of the courses and videos offered by us. And you can also join the Telegram channel to get the access to the PDF of the lectures. And guys, to join the Telegram channel, kindly click on the link given in the description below. And guys, we are also running a daily exam booster series in which general awareness series is being taken by Ritika Rehal ma'am, ESI current affairs series taken by Gurkirat sir, and reports and indices series taken by myself. So guys, now let us move on to the session. Let's get started. So guys, recently a UK based organization, that is Ernst & Young, has released the 57th edition of its biannual report, that is Renewable Energy Country Attractiveness Index. And if you talk about this index, it ranks 40 top countries of the world on the basis of investment in the renewable energy, which is a key part of the energy transition. So guys, now let us move on and let's see that what are the top performers and worst performers of this index. So guys, whenever we are required to cover the rankings, we always cover the top performer, the worst performer, as well as India's rank, which is very important when it comes to the exam point of view. And if you talk about the top performer of this particular index, then this index has been topped by US with the score of 70.7, followed by China on the second position with the score of 68.7, followed by India on the third position with the score of 66.2. So guys, please mark star here, as this particular thing is very important from the exam point of view. And guys, if you talk about the worst performer, then Kenya is the country which has been placed at the 40th position, that is at the bottom of the list with a score of 47.9. And guys, from this particular table we can see that India's rank has improved from 4th position in the previous edition to 3rd position in this particular 57th edition of this index. So guys, now let us see that what are the key findings of this index. So guys, as per this index, the index says that the global renewable energy capacity investment has increased by 2% from 56th edition to 57th edition of this index to $303.5 billion. And guys, this 2% increase is the second highest annual growth ever recorded in last 56 editions of this particular report. And guys, this also says that the world is going to face a investment challenge of $5.2 trillion in 2021, as it is required to achieve the net zero emissions. So guys, now the question arises that what exactly is net zero emissions. So guys, it refers to a balance between the amount of greenhouse gases produced and the amount of greenhouse gases removed from the atmosphere. So guys, the balance between these two components is called the net zero emission. So guys, as per the International Energy Agency current policy scenario, it says that the world requires investment of $12.2 trillion. It requires investment of $12.9 trillion to achieve the net zero emission. But presently, we have only $7.7 trillion investment in order to get the achieve the net zero emission. So that shows that there is a difference of $5.2 trillion. That's why this particular report says that world is going to have an investment challenge. World is going to face an investment challenge of $5.2 trillion in order to achieve the net zero emission. And this report also says that year 2020 was one of the 3 hottest years ever recorded, with an average temperature of 1.2 degrees Celsius above the pre-industrial levels. And guys, it also says that China has added a huge stride in its wind power generation, as it has added 72.4 gigawatt of wind power in year 2020. So guys, which was a huge leap when it comes to the wind power generation, and this shows that China is very much committed towards the net zero emission. And guys, it also says that East Asia has a robust pipeline of clean energy projects. Now, why exactly this report says about the East Asian region? Because in the previous point we have seen that China has added a huge addition towards its wind power generation, and apart from China, Japan and South Korea from this particular region has also proved their commitments towards the net zero, and that's why this particular region is it is likely to benefit from the acceleration in the renewable growth, and because it also building up on the supply chain, plus the technology cost in these regions is also going down. So that's why this particular region is going to attract a huge international investment trust, and that's why this report says that the investment potential of this particular region towards renewable energy growth is $316 billion. So guys, please mark star here, as it is very important specific finding from this particular report. And guys, this report also highlights the role of institutional investors in financing the energy transition. As it says, after the COVID-19 pandemic, the institutional investors have focused on the environment sustainability and governance goals after the COVID-19 pandemic towards the renewable energy growth. And this also says that China and US in the past month has committed to work together during the climate summit, which was hosted by United States. And during that summit, United States also pledged that it is going to reduce its carbon emission by 50 to 52% below the 2005 levels by year 2030. So guys, United States has pledged to decrease its carbon emission by 50 to 52% below the 2005 levels by year 2030. So guys, this really shows the commitment level of United States in order to reduce the carbon emission and in order to achieve the net zero emission. And guys, this particular report also says that the current policies which are in place are projected to put the world on course for a 2.9 degrees Celsius temperature rise by 2100. So guys, that means, which is a very serious cause of concern, as it will by 2100 it will lead to a rise of 2.9 degrees Celsius, and it will become very difficult for human beings as well in order to sustain that particular rise of temperature. And guys, if you talk about the India specific findings, and we have already seen that in the 57th edition of this index, India's rank was improved from 4th in 56th edition to 3rd in 57th edition. And guys, the main important factor which was behind India's improvement in this particular index was that India's installed solar photovoltaic capacity in India was 39 gigawatt in year 2020, and India has really improved in its photovoltaic front, as this particular installed solar PV capacity has marginally crossed the wind capacity. And guys, this has happened for the very first time in the history, that the installed solar PV capacity was marginally higher than the wind capacity. And guys, it also says that the economic attractiveness of the solar PV was also a factor behind India's improvement, as well as the intense competition from the private sector has also played a key role in India's improvement in the ranks of this RECI index. And guys, it also says that the power generation from the solar sector in India will exceed the power generation from the coal sector before 2040. So guys, that means that India's solar sector power generation will exceed the power generation from coal by year 2040. And guys, it also says that India has committed a target of 450 gigawatt of renewable energy power capacity installed by year 2030. So guys, please mark star here. This particular point is very important from the exam point of view. And guys, this also shows that if India achieves this 450 gigawatt of renewable energy power capacity, then it will increase the share of renewable energy in its overall power generation installed capacity to 54%, and it will also increase the gross generation by 36%. And guys, from the below table you can also see India's performance in the different technology specific scores, as India's solar photovoltaic front has scored 62.7, which is the highest, followed by onshore wind with 54.2, followed by biomass 47.4, and hydro with 46.4. And guys, in parts of the geothermal and offshore wind, India is still required to make huge leap, and India is required to make lot of improvement in these two sectors. And guys, India has also performed very well in the solar CSP with 49.2 score. And now guys, for you there is a task that you are required to tell me in the comment section below, that what are the different initiatives which Indian government has taken in order to mitigate the issue of net zero emission and also to increase the renewable energy growth in our country. Okay, so guys, now if we talk about this particular report, also talks about specifically the United Nations Climate Change Conference of Parties, that is COP26. And guys, this COP26 is going to held in Glasgow, UK in November 2021. And guys, this report says that it will be a very huge opportunity for all the governments in order to close the gap between what they have promised to do and the level of action that they have undertaken to date. And it is also considered one of the most important moment for the climate since the signing of the Paris Agreement, because this kind of conference is taking place for the first time after the implementation of Paris Agreement. And guys, this report also says that this particular platform, that COP26, is going to be a very huge platform for all the government to accelerate the energy transition towards the renewable energy growth. And guys, if you talk about the course of action that is suggested, that is recommended by this report, then it says that the governments are required to raise their ambition in order to limit the temperature rise to 1.5 degrees Celsius above the pre-industrial levels. And it also says that the institutional investors are needed to have much more clear commitments in order to infrastructure spending, that they must be very clear about their commitments, that where to spend and where not to. And guys, this particular report also recommends the incentivization of the private investors, and it also recommends the governments in order to involve the private players in order to boost the renewable energy growth. And guys, for the developed nations, this particular report says that the developed nations must increase the research and development spending to the $10 billion per year, that is $10 billion per year, as per the mission innovation. And it also required to increase their climate financing, and they are also required to keep the promise of climate financing for developing nations to $100 billion per year as per the mission innovation. So now guys, the question once again arises for you, that what exactly is mission innovation? That is a homework for you, that you are required to tell me in the comment section below that what is the mission innovation, when was it launched, and what are the different features of the mission innovation. So that was all from the today's session. Now we are required to now we are going to have a small MCQ series through which we are going to revise everything which we have discussed in today's session, as well as to assess that whether we have acquired all the key takeaways from this session or not. So guys, for that, the first question of today's MCQ series is on your screen. So guys, the first question is, which among the following organization has recently released the 57th Renewable Energy Country Attractiveness Index? And guys, you are required to answer me the question in the comment section below. And guys, see, here you are required to tell me the name of the organization which has released the 57th Renewable Energy Country Attractiveness Index. And guys, if you talk about this index, then this particular question arises from the very first pillar that we have discussed during this session, that is the releasing body. And guys, if we talk about the releasing body, then this particular report was released by Ernst and Young. And guys, that's why the right answer to this particular question is option A, that is Ernst and Young. So guys, now let us move on to the second question. And second question is, which among the following country has topped the recently released 57th Renewable Energy Country Attractiveness Index? And guys, the options are China, Japan, Australia, US and Sweden. And guys, please answer the question in the comment section below, as this particular question asks us about the country which has topped the index. And guys, this is very important from the exam point of view. And if we talk about the country which has topped the index, then it was none other than the United States. And that's why option D becomes the right answer to this particular question. And guys, now we are having a googly question for all of you, through which we are going to see that how many of you are going to hit a cracking shot and how many of you are going to lose your wicket. And guys, the googly question is here on your screen. The question says, according to the recently released Environmental Risk Outlook 2021, what is the number of cities from India that are ranked in the top 100 most vulnerable cities? So guys, this Environmental Risk Outlook 2021 was recently released, and you are required to tell me the number of cities from India which are ranked in the top 100 most vulnerable cities. And guys, the options are 33, 47, 53, 58 and 43. And guys, you all are required to answer me this particular question in the comment section below, that what is the number of cities from India which are ranked in the top 100 most vulnerable cities. And guys, the right answer to this particular question is option E, that is 43. So guys, now let us move on to the question from the session itself, and the next question is, what is India's rank as per the recently released 57th Renewable Energy Country Attractiveness Index? And guys, see, this is once again from the very most important pillar, that is India's rank. And guys, the options are 1st, 3rd, 9th, 19th and 29th. So guys, please answer me the question in the comment section below. Please go into the flashback and remember that what was India's rank as per this 57th Renewable Energy Country Attractiveness Index launched by Ernst and Young. And guys, the right answer to this question is option B, that is 3rd. So guys, India's rank was 3rd, and if we talk about the India's rank in the 56th edition, then it was 4th. As we have discussed in this particular session, that India's rank has improved from 4th to 3rd from 56th to 57th edition of this particular index. And now guys, let's move on to the next question of this small MCQ series. And the next question is, as per the recently released 57th Renewable Energy Country Attractiveness Index, which country has added the 72.5 gigawatts of wind energy of wind power in year 2020? And guys, you are required to answer me in the comment section below, that which country has added 72.4 gigawatts of wind power in year 2020. And guys, the options are Kenya, China, Poland, Brazil and India. And guys, the right answer to this particular question is option B, that is China. So guys, we have already discussed that China has really added a huge stride in its wind power generation, as it has added 72.4 gigawatts of wind power in year 2020. So guys, that was all the questions from today's session. Now let us move on to the homework question of the session. So guys, the homework question is, which among the following organization has recently released the Global Methane Assessment Benefit and Cost of Mitigating Methane Emissions? And guys, the options are United Nations Environment Program, Climate and Clean Air Coalition, International Energy Agency, both UNEP and CCAC, both CCAC and IEA. So guys, once again a question from the releasing body itself. So guys, this shows that the releasing body itself is also very important from the exam point of view. So guys, whenever you are required to cover any report, please, the very first parameter to cover that report is covering the releasing body of that particular report. And guys, the answer to this particular question will be answered by me in the next session. So guys, now you are required to answer this particular question in the comment section below. And now let us move on to the homework question from the previous section. So guys, the homework question from the previous session was, according to the recently released 2020 Human Rights Report, which among the following are the human rights issues in India? And guys, the right answer to the particular question is option E, that is all of the above, as the harassment and detention of journalists, widespread corruption at all levels of the government, restrictions on political participation, discrimination and violence targeting minority people are all the human rights issues which India are facing. And that's why option E becomes the right answer to this particular question. So guys, if we talk about the star performers of the day, then a huge round of applause for Surya Teja, as he has given every detail of the homework question which was asked in the previous session. So huge round of applause to Surya Teja. Congratulations, Surya Teja. And if you also want your name to be mentioned here in the upcoming session, then kindly participate in the session and answer the questions asked during the session in the comment section below. So guys, I hope that today's session was fruitful and useful to all of you. But still, if you have any queries, then you can drop us a mail at hello@edutap.co.in, and you can also call us at 814-620-7241. So guys, now I am going to meet you in the next session. Till then, stay happy, stay healthy. Wish you all happy learning.